The vast and turbulent waters of the Indian Ocean represent one of the most critical maritime arteries in the contemporary world. For Japan, this body of water is not merely a distant geographic feature, but the lifeline through which energy resources from the Middle East must pass to power the Japanese economy. Consequently, the strategic partnership between Tokyo and New Delhi has evolved beyond diplomatic pleasantries into a robust security architecture aimed at maintaining a free and open Indo-Pacific. At the center of this deepening military and technological cooperation sits a singular piece of Japanese engineering, the ShinMaywa US-2 amphibious aircraft. This machine has become the focal point of a decade-long negotiation that reveals both the prowess of Japanese manufacturing and the complex realities of the global arms trade. To understand why the Indian Navy has maintained such a persistent interest in the US-2 despite the high acquisition costs, one must look at the unique engineering capabilities that distinguish this aircraft from its global competitors. The Indian Ocean is characterized by rough seas that render most seaplanes inoperable for large portions of the year. While the Chinese Avic AG-600 Kunlong is larger and the Russian Beriev BE-200 is faster, neither possesses the rough water performance of the US-2. The Japanese aircraft is the only amphibian in the world capable of landing and taking off on waves as high as 3 meters, corresponding to sea state 5. This capability is not merely a statistical advantage, but an operational necessity for a Navy that needs to conduct search and rescue missions or insert special forces into the unpredictable waters of the Andaman Sea. The secret to this performance lies in a technology known as boundary layer control. The US-2 utilizes a dedicated CTS-800 engine housed within the fuselage solely to generate compressed air. This air is blown over the wings and control surfaces to increase lift at very low speeds. This system allows the 47-ton aircraft to fly at speeds as low as 90 kilometers per hour without stalling. By approaching the water at such low velocities, the impact forces on the hull are significantly reduced, enabling operations in conditions that would destroy the airframes of rival aircraft. For the Japanese defense industry, the US-2 is a testament to the philosophy of monozukuri, or the art of making things, demonstrating an obsessive attention to detail that results in functional superiority. However, the potential sale of the US-2 to India serves a purpose far greater than humanitarian search and rescue. From a geopolitical standpoint, the transaction is designed to fortify the security of the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. This Indian archipelago sits at the western entrance to the Strait of Malacca, a critical choke point for global trade and energy shipments. As the People's Liberation Army Navy of China expands its submarine operations and surface patrols into the Indian Ocean, the strategic value of these islands has increased exponentially. Deploying the US-2 would allow the Indian Navy to supply remote outposts that lack runways and extend their surveillance reach far beyond the coast. In effect, the aircraft acts as a force multiplier, turning the island chain into an unsinkable aircraft carrier that monitors traffic entering and exiting the South China Sea. For Japan, strengthening the maritime domain awareness of India is a direct contribution to its own national security. A strong Indian presence in the Andaman Sea acts as a counterweight to maritime expansionism, ensuring that the sea lanes remain open for Japanese merchant vessels. This alignment fits perfectly into the Quadrilateral Security Dialogue, or the Quad, which involves Japan, the United States, Australia, and India. The export of defense equipment is therefore not just a commercial transaction but a diplomatic instrument used to cement alliances and create a network of interoperable defense capabilities across the region. Despite the clear strategic logic and technical superiority of the US-2, the deal has faced significant delays, highlighting the friction between Japanese caution and the realities of the international arms market. The primary hurdle has been the cost. With a price tag estimated at approximately $113 million per unit, the US-2 is significantly more expensive than its competitors. The Indian Ministry of Defense, which operates with tight budget constraints, has hesitated to commit to such a large expenditure without significant concessions. These concessions typically involve the transfer of technology and a requirement for domestic production under the Make in India initiative. This demand for technology transfer creates a dilemma for Tokyo. While the Japanese government has relaxed its historic self-imposed ban on arms exports, the administrative and legal framework remains rigid compared to established exporters like France or Russia. There are valid concerns within the Japanese defense establishment regarding the protection of sensitive technologies, particularly the unique wave suppression and lift generating systems that give the US-2 its edge. Furthermore, the volume of the proposed order, which ranges between 12 and 18 aircraft, is arguably too small to justify the immense economic cost of setting up a new production line in India. The economics of scale do not favor a localized production model for such a niche aircraft, creating a deadlock where strategic intent clashes with financial viability. Moreover, the negotiation process reflects the learning curve Japan is currently navigating as it transforms from a purely pacifist nation into a proactive contributor to global security. The Japanese defense industry has historically catered exclusively to the Japan Self-Defense Forces, a customer base that prioritizes performance and reliability over cost competitiveness. Entering the global market requires a shift in mindset where pricing, financing packages, and industrial offsets are as important as the specifications of the hardware. The ongoing discussion suggests that Tokyo may eventually need to treat the price difference as a strategic investment rather than a commercial loss. Subsidizing the cost or offering favorable loan terms could be the necessary price to pay for cementing a long-term alliance with New Delhi. Critics might argue that focusing on a non-combat platform like a search and rescue aircraft is a tentative half-step that avoids the harder questions of lethal aid. However, this perspective overlooks the dual-use nature of modern military equipment. A platform capable of long-range surveillance and inserting personnel into hostile environments has inherent military utility, regardless of whether it carries missiles. By starting with a humanitarian-focused asset like the US-2, both Japan and India are building the trust and logistical frameworks necessary for more sensitive cooperation in the future. It sets a precedent for the interoperability of complex systems and the sharing of maintenance protocols. In conclusion, the saga of the ShinMaywa US-2 and India is a microcosm of the broader shifts in Asian security dynamics. It represents the meeting point of Japanese technological excellence and Indian strategic ambition. While the financial and bureaucratic hurdles are substantial, the imperative to secure the Indo-Pacific against emerging hegemonies provides a powerful motivation to overcome them. The US-2 is more than a machine that conquers 3-meter waves. It is a potential anchor for a maritime partnership that spans the entire southern rim of the Asian continent. Whether this deal is finalized will serve as a litmus test for the maturity of the Japan-India strategic partnership and the willingness of Japan to utilize its industrial capacity as a tool of statecraft. The outcome will likely determine whether the rough waters of the Indian Ocean will be managed by a coalition of democracies or left vulnerable to unilateral encroachment.